15, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full power. Liftoff of Iridium And Oneweb.
Vehicle's pitching downrange.
M1D chamber pressure is nominal.
Successful liftoff of Falcon 9 from Space Launch Complex 4 East at the Vandenberg Space Force Base. We're carrying the Iridium OneWeb satellites into orbit. We've begun gimbaling the engines on the first stage. Gimbaling is really just tilting the engines.
Telemetry nominal.
We've begun what's called a gravity turn. So we're letting gravity help pull the rocket to go sideways. We need to be going fast horizontally to get into orbit. We actually just got through the throttle bucket.
Vehicle supersonic.
Throttle bucket being where we've throttled down the Merlin 1D engines in preparation for max Q. That's the point of highest stresses on the vehicle.
Max Q.
Fantastic views from this ground tracking cam. Nice to be out of the Vandenberg fog. Now, a rocket needs to go about 17,500 miles an hour horizontally in order to avoid being pulled back down to Earth. And if it does get to that velocity, that's what we say that's what we mean when we say we're getting to orbit. So we're continuing to accelerate on the first stage. Call out there of MVAC chill.
MVAC ignition.
And there are great views of that shortened MVAC nozzle. Right-hand side of your screen is the second stage. Left-hand side of your screen is the first stage. We've begun deploying the hypersonic grid fins on the first stage. Those are those structures that are popping into view right now.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there is successful separation of the fairings. Now both the fairing halves, in fact, there's a view of one of the fairing halves on the right-hand side of your screen, making its way back to Earth. Both of these fairing halves are flight proven, one of them having flown 3 times and the other one for its 6th time.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
There is startup of the entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And then followed by a little bit of attitude gas there just to get us pointed in the re-entry attitude that we want to be in. Now from there on, the first stage actually has those 4 grid fins.
Nominal trajectories.
And as we get into the thicker atmosphere, we get more control off of those grid fins. They'll actually do most of the pointing. We don't need to use attitude gas or the engines to do that until the landing burn starts in just about...
Stage 1 landing burn.
Pretty fun coming in through the clouds here off the California coast.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Stage 2 FTS was saved.
Stage 2 terminal guidance.
MVAC shutdown.
Stage 1 landing is confirmed.
Okay, a lot of things happened there, but I see a successful landing.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Of our Falcon 9 first stage. We had a second engine cutoff there. You heard the call out for nominal orbital insertion. So we're in our first parking orbit for the second stage. And on the first stage, that marked the 193rd recovery of an orbital class rocket inclusion. Now, we've had a great mission so far. We had an on-time liftoff at 6:16 a.m. Pacific time from Slick 4 East in the Vandenberg at the Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. We're looking at a live view of the second stage on orbit as it's preparing for its second planned MVAC burn. Up to this point, we had a successful ascent and a successful orbital insertion on the second stage, and we also recovered our first stage, marking its 11th landing. And we're coming up just about 10 seconds away from a second ignition of the Merlin vacuum engine to put the Iridium OneWeb payloads into the payload deploy orbit.
Acquisition of signal, Malindi, East Africa.
MVAC ignition. MVAC shutdown.
And there was a successful burn of the second stage engine. Super fast burn, just a couple of seconds.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Iridium 5, separation confirmed. OneWeb Alpha 3 and Alpha 7, separation confirmed. OneWeb Bravo 5 and Bravo 1, JoeySat, separation confirmed.
And there is confirmation of the next two satellites, including OneWeb's demonstration satellite.
OneWeb Bravo 7 and Bravo 3, separation confirmed. OneWeb Bravo 6 and Bravo 2, separations confirmed. All Iridium and OneWeb separations confirmed.